to another edition of The Morning View.
Yes, people. What's going on? Happy Monday to each and every single one of you, man. Big up to yourself. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. It is Monday. We have won a game. We have beaten Crystal Palace at Old Trafford, and I still actually can't believe it. I'm very, very excited about that. Retro Grader says, Flecknology, a.k.a. Uncle Fleck. Yeah, I'm in a little bit of a mirror warp at the moment because Owen's jumping back in a sec. He's doing some stuff, you know what I'm saying? He's got some stuff to work on in the lab. So I was like, Owen, you know what? Just put me in there, man. Just put me in the matrix and we'll make it work for a bit. Just don't tell Josh, okay? That's the only thing you need to remember is don't let Josh know that we've got this little double mirror thing because he'll probably be on the phone ringing me, messaging me right now saying, what's that? That's not what I created, etc., etc. Josh, if you're watching, it's okay, bro. It's just a temporary thing. It's just a temporary thing. Right. Big up to each and every single one of you, man. Owen's still recovering from Survivor Series into match day. Yeah, man, he done a madness. Mr. Super Jam says, Owen, wake up. Morning flex. Owen was on a mad marathon, man. Do you know what I'm saying? He had a lot of recovering to do yesterday from a late night from Survivor Series, like you said, into the match day. So, yeah, big up to Owen. Big up to each one of you. We're going to be talking about Joshua Zirkzee, the redemption. The redemption. Hold that, Flex. We told you, Flex. The manager does rate Zirkzee because I tell you what, he was giving him a lot of ratings after the games yesterday. After the game and the win yesterday. He scored a great goal as well, which I still watched it back quite a few times. I don't know how he scored it. Bruno was saying the same thing. Mason Mount was saying the same thing. Like, how has he scored that with his left foot from that angle? I still don't know. Mount as well. He's had been a shoulder to lean on for Leny Yoro. We've got to talk about Leny. Leny's going for a tough spot at the moment, as is Patrick Dorgu, but just not as public. But some of our youngsters need our backing, some of our younger players. And Mount's been talking about how good he feels, how strong he feels, after a long time out from injury, always getting ridiculed, but he feels good now. If anything, he feels the best he's ever felt. Some would say he feels optimized, and here's how. Today's video is sponsored by our friends at Oxford Natural and their all-new natural supplement, Optimum Day and Night. Thousands across the UK, USA, and beyond are smashing their health goals with Oxford Natural. Optimum Day gives you steady energy, curbs your cravings, and keeps your metabolism firing all day. Optimum Night helps you relax, get restorative sleep, recover, and keep burning fat while you rest. It's not a magic pill, but it will help you reach your health goals. Check out some of the incredible results. Two of our own. Owen lost over 100 pounds in 10 months, and KG dropped 30 pounds in 4 months. In 8 months, football legend Michael Owen lost 35 pounds, and Robbie from AFTV, Don Robbie, lost over 80 pounds. And in 6 months, Anita, an award-winning immigration lawyer, lost 44 pounds, and Linda, a law firm executive, lost over 50 pounds. No gimmicks, no needles, just results. Oxford Natural, let's get to work. Yes, let's get to work. You already know what it is by now. If you don't, where have you been? Scan the QR code right there, bottom left-hand corner. Well, bottom right-hand corner as you're looking at the screen. Use code UV for up to 70% off your Oxford Natural products. You got your Optimum Day. See it there? Right there, so yeah. You got your Optimum Day that's going to help you with your fat burning, your weight loss, and no sugar cravings as well. You need to make sure you stay on top of that. And your ashwagandha, your magnesium, your berberine is stacked in your Optimum Night to help you with that powerful sleep, that sleep restoration for you to just relax and recoup. And a big part of weight loss, obviously, is down to your sleep, if you didn't know that. But like I say, these ain't a one-stop shop. You can't just take your Optimum supplements and be trying to lose weight and thinking that you're the man / the woman, yeah? You got to put that work in. Fix up your diet and fix up your exercise. I ain't even going to say that in a polite way. No need for fix up, yeah? All around. But this will help you along your way. You can also click the link in the video description below as well. Like I said, to save up to 70% off your order. Joshua Zirkzee, bro. Joshua Zirkzee. Fair play. Fair play. He's got an opportunity. And we were saying that in this opportunity, he needs to take it and run with it. You know, there's AFCON coming up. Benjamin Sesko's out for an extended period of time, as is Mateus Cunha, who will probably be back for Thursday. So it'll be interesting to see what you do there, because you go, do you even change a winning team? That would be harsh on Joshua Zirkzee if Cunha comes straight back in, you know, for Mount or for Zirkzee, and Mbumo's Mbumo. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But Joshua Zirkzee scored a great goal yesterday. Great goal yesterday. That sparked the turnaround, ignited the turnaround. And it was a goal from an impossible angle, really. I still don't know how he scored it, bro. I still don't know how he scored it. And then from that point, he started to play a lot better. You know, his touch was a lot better. He was linking up with players, getting involved, doing the Joshua Zirkzee things that we want him to see. And actually, Ruben Amorim had a lot of praise for him yesterday after the game, and rightly so. And rightly so. I've got the quotes here because he said a lot after the game. There's a lot that has been said after the game. And he said, Ruben Amorim asked if he said anything at halftime. No, we just wanted everyone to understand the game. I felt in the last 10 minutes of the first half that the opponent was struggling, and that they would struggle in the second half to fatigue. He said we had that feeling. What we needed to do something to change, and we needed to do something to change the way we were playing. We tried to change little things in the game, the intensity and quality in the way we connect, especially singles him out, especially for Josh. He improved a lot the way we played. And he said, I didn't say play near. He said on what he said to Brian Mbumo and Zirkzee playing close together in the second half. He said, I didn't say play nearer to Josh, but I just said to the players, we need to be more alive. If you are more alive, you are in more places, you are near the ball more often. I think everything did that. Everyone did that. But we also need to understand that our opponent was getting tired in the second half. When you increase the rhythm and the opponent gets tired a little bit and suffers a goal right away, you feel that we have control of the game. That is exactly what I said afterwards, didn't I? Remember when I was like, their level came down and ours came up, and we kind of met them in the middle and then superseded them? Ruben Amorim saw it exactly the same way. But where's the thing he said about Josh? There you go. This is what he said about Joshua Zirkzee, about the goal. It was really important, but again, it was not just the goal. Even the runs in behind in the first half, he struggled on the duels. He won some in the second, and we improved a lot because of his quality. It is important for him to understand that it is not just the goal. We played better because he played well in the second half. So big praise. Because we said it from the Everton game, we said we expect rustiness. You know what I mean? When it was his first start in God knows how long, hadn't scored since, basically a year in the Premier League. We all knew that he's going to be rusty, so you've got to give him a little bit of time to get going. Everybody was shocking against Everton. Every single player. Awful, okay? A real game to forget very, very quickly. And then that carried on into the first half against Palace, because that was equally as bad, if not probably worse. If not as probably worse than against Everton. We were really bad because they were a team that had just played on the Thursday, Palace. We gave them loads of opportunities. Everton just had the one shot and scored. Palace could have been about 3 up. The Mateta penalty plus the 2 chances he got from open play at least could have been 3-0 up. We were very, very lucky. But second half, we improved. Shout out to Crixus there, says you are saying we were good yesterday. Ha ha, stop being delusional. We weren't good. We were just probably lucky to win, according to the Crixus. No, I don't think we were lucky to win. We were better than Palace in the second half. But you can talk about the reasons why we were better than Palace in the second half. And the reason is not necessarily because we're a better team than them and we play the system better than them and Glasner's not good and all of this. It's because they got tired. Our manager is saying that. So if you can't see that with your own eyes and ears, then that's on you, bro. If you're taking that means we're saying that we were really good because of X, Y, Z. No, look at the reasons of why we were good. We were good because second half, Palace tired, like they did towards the end of the first, and we played better in the second half. That's how we won the game. That's it. See what I'm saying? Super Us is not as bad as Everton, much better even in the first half. Were we much better? What? Not as bad as Everton, much better even in the first half. I don't agree with that, bro. Super Arch, bro. Did you see how we played that first half? It was comical, bro, comical. Probably much of a muchness, but to say our first half was better against Palace than it was against Everton, I don't know about that, bro. I don't know about that. We were absolutely awful. But to be fair, we're probably arguing over spilt milk. Like, it is what it is. That first half was a disgrace. I don't care what anyone said. It was awful, bro. It was awful. But anyway, back to the Zirkzee praise. Let's keep it positive because we won. Back to the Zirkzee praise. He upped his game in the second half. And let's be real. We scored that goal. It wasn't against the run of play because we were playing better. I need to watch it back as well. But it wasn't like we were banging down the door at that stage. It was a goal out of nothing, essentially. Do you know what I mean? A good little move. Bruno said that they've been working on that in training, him and Josh. Like, looking at each other, just knowing, pointing where he wants the ball, Bruno said. So fair enough. That's what they've been doing. Fair enough. And it worked. But I have to say, the goal was special. The goal's a really, really good goal. And that gave him the confidence. That is what turned the tide. That is what turned the game. Joshua Zirkzee started playing better. He started coming short, getting little touches on the half turn, etc., etc. So I think that he deserves massive quality. And this is a player that, like, infamously in the Trinity, I was saying the manager doesn't rate him. Now, the manager's giving him an opportunity because he has to. Let's not, if Benjamin Sesko would have been fit and Cunha, he would not be playing. But those are if, buts, or maybes. Now that he is playing, he has to take his opportunity. And he struggled against Everton to get going again. And he really took his opportunity second half against Everton. Against Palace yesterday. And that should do him the world of good. And now we take that into Thursday night against, let's be honest, a poor West Ham side. Watching them yesterday. I know they look like they might have turned the corner a little bit, but Liverpool weren't even great yesterday. Didn't need to be. West Ham were really terrible. So you put that into hopefully, but we can't count our chickens because we thought we'd do well against Everton at home, and look what we did. So nothing's a given. But hopefully he takes that into that game and more goals come for him. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, 1 goal in 24 games, decent. I get the irony, or the what do you call that word again? Sarcasm. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it, bro. I get it. Yes. Right. Here's what we need to do now, though. We need to talk more about Amorim. Okay? That's what we need to do. So, the Amorim on Zirkzee quote. Let's go to that now and then pull it up. Let's do that. You see? Ruben Amorim on Zirkzee's goal. I mean, I did touch on this earlier, but we do have the actual.
I can read it with my voice, Flex. I can read it with my voice.
There.
Oh yes. I am here. Ruben Amorim on Joshua Zirkzee's goal. He says, "You'll be shocked that he throws a really in there. That's Ruben Amorim special. It was really important. It was really important. But again, it's not just the goal. Even the runs in behind in the first half, he struggled on the duels, which I just heard you, Flex. That's what you were saying. He won some in the second, and he improved a lot because of his quality. It is important for him to understand that it's not just the goal. It's not just the goal, Flex. We played better because he played well in the second half. And that's quite interesting to hear him say that, isn't it? That, actually it's not, he was a big part of us actually playing well in the second half, right? It wasn't just that. Now, Flex, this is a bit of guesswork about whether you fit in your box, right?
Oh, yeah, I know, because I know what you've done.
Yeah. I tried my best. I tried my best.
Tried to do it blind. Which was good,
I tried to do it blind. You know what I mean? I did what I could. Let me make sure you fit better in here. I tell you what, folks. Yeah, it's been a hell of a morning. Little Miss Asher, who is currently on my lap. She was a bit freaked out this morning, Flex. That's why I'm late.
Why?
I'm like, what? I figured out why. Right. Construction. There's construction going on outside. There's construction going on outside, and she does not like it. She does not like it. She is not a fan. Are you? I don't know if you can see her. Where is
Can't
she?
see her.
She's
Oh,
probably
there she is. Yeah, there she is. Yeah,
hide
she's
behind the
scared.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she is with me this morning. But yes, we are here. We are off the back of also Flex, a victory that we wouldn't necessarily think we were going to get. I've heard you talking about Joshua Zirkzee. Some have said they want you to be accountable as well.
Yeah,
going,
and I am. Yeah.
Does Ruben not rate Zirkzee now and what have you?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what it is? Yeah, Flex. I'm gonna be honest. Like, you can probably still see it in
I need to be in my box a little bit more as well, I think.
Yeah. I'll there you go. I was yesterday. I was a bit crabby. Yesterday. I didn't have a lot of sleep. I still look like it today.
Yeah, you look tired. I'm not gonna lie.
You know when you've like I had like about 2.5, 3 hours sleep yesterday. Yeah. And then Flex called me up during the Chelsea game because he was like, "We'll put something out after the on the football Flex," and my reaction was, "Yeah." And he went, "You tired?" I went, "Yeah." And he went, "You asleep?" I went, "Yeah." And I was a bit crabby yesterday, but I thought about it a bit more. And I'd like to say this morning, I haven't calmed down in the slightest. Yeah, I haven't calmed down in the slightest because yesterday, I was celebrating a win and going, look, I know it wasn't great and the performance wasn't amazing, but we got the win. 3 points. We didn't think we were going to get that win. So I'm happy about that. And then I get people telling me, well, you shouldn't celebrate that because it's not sustainable in the long term. And Don Robbie settings.
No, wait a minute. Wait.
I remember a time, Flex. I remember a time where we did win a game and I wasn't too thrilled about it. So I was like, oh, this is shit. And I got told off going, hey, you're not celebrating a win. You're not a real fan. Now I'm celebrating a win and I'm told, no, you can't celebrate that. You can't celebrate what you saw out there today. You can't celebrate that victory. Yes, you can. We're not great. And nobody, I mean, a few, to be fair, a few in the chat and a few in the comments, because if you go to the preview, you do see a few, and they were laughed at. Going, I'll tell you what, I don't know why, but I just feel like we could win today. There was only a few, but no one really thought that we were going to get a win yesterday, and we did. And do you know what? Good. We need it. We're up to 5th. Now, is it sustainable in the long term? Are we going to finish 5th this season?
It was 6th.
I don't know. 6th, excuse me. 6th in the table, right? Yeah. But in the European spots, good. Whether or not we actually finish there,
Owen was 7th.
Gone down to 7th, but still, European spots. European spots. We're in the conversation, right? We're in the conversation. Yeah, we're in the conversation. That's good.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we're going to finish there this season. I don't know if we're going to be there in 2 or 3 years. I don't know if Project 2028 is going to be a thing and this, that, and the other. But can we enjoy it for 5 minutes? 5 minutes? And look, I've said all I need to say about Ruben Amorim. I watched that for the majority of the game yesterday. That first half, I was sickened by it. I heard what you were saying earlier on about it was a bit better than Everton. I don't know about that. If it was a bit better than Everton, in that first half.
Someone said that to me.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Right.
I heard you pushing back to it. I don't know about that. But hey, it was a win that the vast majority of us didn't expect to get. It wasn't pretty. And celebrate it. By all means, don't get too carried away. This is what I'm saying. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. I don't know if I trust, to trust us beating West Ham on Thursday. You never know. You never know with this Man United team. But if anything, that's even more of the reason to celebrate it because you don't know what's around the corner, right? So I thought that it wasn't pretty, it wasn't great, but it's a 3 points, and I will take it to the bank, cash it in straight away before that check bounce, mates. Yeah,
exactly. And there are bits like, again, when people want to look at the positive versus the negatives. So, like, in my DR group, they're all saying, "How have you won that game?" Oh my God, Matisse was actually there, and he's gone, "I just can't. I don't know how you've done it." They're all in the group cussing, saying, "You lucky." But then, you see a bit more opinion, and I thought about it as well. I was like, you can't just call it luck that we won. Like, that wasn't really, it weren't like a smash and grab. Like, it was I remember saying this during the stream, and I said, guys, what's happening here is Palace's level is doing this because they're getting tired, and we've just raised ours a little bit. I remember doing this exact analogy and saying we're probably meeting about there, and then we got a goal in that moment, and we kind of went up from there. And Ruben said exactly that. He said it almost word for word. The last 10 minutes of the first half, I could see the opponent tiring, and we felt that they would continue to tire in the second half. We saw it with our eyes. So on one hand, we didn't win because hold that, Glasner. Ruben's the real 3-4-3 king, not you. We're better than you, Palace. That's why we won, because we're just a better team. Not necessarily. Didn't win because of that. But we did win because, like I said, we improved in the second half. You know, It wasn't hard to improve from the first half. It was so bad. Yep. We did improve. We got lucky that they didn't take their chances in the first half because Palace should have been 3 up. Mateta had 2 good chances and he fluffed them both from open play, then the pen. So we could have been 3-0 down. And Palace dropped their level because they're knackered. So take that. And then we scored 2 good goals. And then we inserted ourselves and was more calm and defended well. We ran harder, ran quicker, etc. So it's a combination of all these things. It weren't total complete luck. Like, oh my God, you lucky bastards. But it wasn't, oh my God, we're so good. And this is why everyone shut up about Ruben. This is the thing. We keep trying to find all the way that side or all the way that way. It can't be that.
Do you know why it wasn't luck? Do you know why it wasn't luck? It wasn't luck because Man United have got the most set piece goals in the Premier League this season. You don't get that by luck. You don't luckily score them. You don't luckily score the most set piece goals in the Prem, right? There is method to that madness, isn't there? There is method to that. And this is when I mentioned it after the game when we actually we wrapped up. I said, you know what's tough now is Ruben Amorim has become such a divisive figure within the fan base that if you praise him, you will get this swarm of attack. If you criticize him, you will get this swarm of attack. So, for instance, yesterday I said after the match, I went, Ruben deserves praise. Ruben deserves praise today. Why? Because we won the game, and it clearly has a part to play
so true.
in the game. True. And then it gets into, no, you can't praise Ruben for that. Blah, 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 blah. If we lose a game, you go, I tell you what, Ruben, that's not worked out today. No, players. And the reality is, it's all of the above. It's all of the above. Ruben does deserve praise for yesterday because, as you said, he mentioned that the team's tiring. He didn't make the changes at halftime. When he did make the change for taking off Yoro, putting Mazraoui on, the team got better. On top of that, we scored from set pieces, which is clearly a focus of the team. Deserve some praise for that. Now, some other things, it's not all on Ruben. The players, you look at them yesterday and you go, the mentality, they are still so fragile that first half, they can't pass a ball because they're under the cosh. They're under pressure. Literally, you mentioned it. Zirkzee scores a goal, which is a moment of brilliance from him and Bruno, more so Zirkzee. And then suddenly we can pass the ball. Suddenly we can pass the ball 5 yards. Suddenly it's not too bad. And you go, well, that clearly is something between the 2 ears then of these players that you score a goal, bit of momentum, suddenly they become footballers. So their inability to handle pressure and their mentality is clearly a problem. And that should be the majority on the players. You also then look at Ruben going, can you somehow get that out of them? Can you do something that other managers at Manchester United haven't been able to do post-Fergie, which is manage that mentality? So it's a lot of different things. And this is when I push back on the whole moments argument, because that was the other thing after the game. Like we always find something to criticize, even if we win a game. We won a game yesterday that very few people thought we were going to win. And then the pushback is, but it's moments FC and it's set piece FC, blah, blah, blah. And as my favorite phrase goes, well, we can't talk out of both sides of our mouth. We can't openly be like, these players are shit. They're rubbish. They can't do anything. And then what? Expect them to be prime Barca and dominate teams? If they're shit, which they are, then we're going to have to rely on moments. We're going to have to rely on set pieces because they're not good. You know what I mean? And I still go back to the whole moments FC. Moments win football matches, right? Moments of brilliance. That's what players get paid the big bucks for, is to create something out of nothing. That's why Bruno Fernandes is the captain of Manchester United, because he's done moments. That's why, the great players throughout Manchester United history have played in moments, something out of nothing. And if you're away from home against Crystal Palace, which is, I don't think they'd lost since February, then you're going to maybe have to rely on set pieces, you know? And I don't give a shit about being set piece FC if my team's winning. It's the same way as Arsenal. I don't think they cared about being set piece FC when they were winning. So frankly, I'm glad that we can actually score from set pieces, because I remember not too long ago where we had like the worst record of scoring from set pieces. You remember that? I think it was under Ollie.
Yeah.
Under
yeah,
Ollie,
do anything.
it was why can't we score from a set piece? Harry Maguire, we've bought him, slabhead, and he doesn't score from set pieces, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Now
I remember that.
we're scoring
do anything.
Now we're scoring the most from set pieces, and it's but it's set piece FC, isn't it? We'll never be happy. And justifiably so for some reasons, but off the back of a victory, mate, I'll take it. I'll take it. I mean, you mentioned it yesterday too, Flex. That whole, if you'd have said going into this easy run of games, this was meant to be the game that we lost, not the game on Monday, And if it has gone the other way round, it's gone the other way round. But frankly, when it comes to these easy games, now we're back on track. Somehow, some way, we've got back on track when it comes to that. And it has to be something to build on. And I know the pushback to that is, well, how can you build on that? Well, you can build on a win. I'd much rather build on a win than have to build on a loss.
Listen, and the truth of the matter is, we don't know. That's the thing again, where we're searching for that. And we don't know. We don't know what's around the corner. We don't know if we can build on this. We don't know if it's a building block. We have to understand. This is what I've understood more from that 5-game streak to now, to the Everton humbler. Listen, don't take anything for granted. Don't expect anything. This is where the team is. The team will do what they did in that first half, do what they did for 90 minutes against Everton, then somehow find a way to beat Palace, though. We'll do what we did away at Anfield and then find a way to get a shit draw against Spurs or something like that.
That's not just us, by the way, though, Flex, as well, because we mentioned it yesterday too, going into the game. Everton, if you watched them on Monday against us, you'd be like, they're going to be in Europe, with that kind of fight, that kind of mentality. They got pumped 4-1 at home against a Newcastle team that couldn't win away.
With 11 men.
Yeah, with 11 men, football's a weird one. You know what I mean? It's this league this season is impossible to predict. It feels like, doesn't it? It really
does.
is.
And what we're trying to do,
and we're no different in that regard, really, are we? It's impossible to predict. Results are just baffling.
Exactly. And Bradley says, so Flex, you're saying we should accept this shit. No, I'm not saying.
So you're saying
shit. Exactly.
when you start the phrase.
And listen, look. I still have not, come back after the Grimsby game by doing do you know what? I'm Ruben in again, and I'm this and I'm that. I can't be asked, because the team hasn't shown anything to show that like one or the other is right or wrong. So you know what? I'm just gonna lock in. Like I'm just gonna lock in for the game to games. And this is it. You made a great point when you said you can criticize Ruben Amorim for loads of things. I don't think winning should be one of them. And that is like, it's so true. Like, if you have as like a bad a start to your tenure at Man United as he's had, if you win some games, fucking take it and run to the bank, bro. We can't get involved in, but if you do that next week against West Ham, you're going to lose. Now, I think the only thing I think you should do that on, again, is if you try to say that we're better than we are because we won that game. That's the cut-off point. Do you see what I'm saying? And this is what I mean, why it's so frustrating, because you're so right. If you criticize Ruben Amorim, you get told, don't criticize him because we've won a game and he's doing the right things. He's the best we've got. Ruben, yes. And if you praise him, you get told, don't you praise him. This is shit football. You can't do either or. You make such a good point. So what keeps happening is when we get a good result, there's people trying to basically, they're only thinking of the bigger picture and saying, well, you can't keep winning games like that. Can't keep winning games like that. And then when we lose,
justification, isn't it? It's always justification. So like you said, if we win, but we only won because of this. If we lost, but we lost because of that. You know what I mean? It's always that. And Ruben Amorim yesterday won only his 5th away Premier League game in charge. And, I'm a bit like, well, I'll take it then. And and this is the other thing. I think there maybe is a little bit of confusion of celebrating a win is not like acceptance of, oh, actually, we played great yesterday. There's nothing wrong. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong at Manchester, or there was nothing wrong in that performance. They can be separate issues. I can celebrate a win and go, I tell you what, I'll take that. You know, I didn't think we were gonna get it. 3 points, great. I still know that we were rubbish for the majority of that game. First half, we were shocking. Second half, we were better. Against a lot of other teams, we probably won't win the game. But I can still be like, you know what? I'll take that win. I can still look at that performance and go, yeah, sustain long term, a year in charge. Did I expect it to be better? Yeah. And are my standards on the floor? Well, yeah, because we finished 15th last season. You know what I mean? We finished 15th last. The standards on the floor have been set a long, long time ago, not based off yesterday's game. And you're right. I mentioned it before. You can criticize Ruben Amorim a lot. Team selection, formation, setup, substitutions, the stuff he says in the press. But when he wins, I'm not going to criticize him for that because it's redundant. And that is also this is why I've sort of not given up, but I'm not doing the whole, this is why he needs to go and he needs to go tomorrow, because he is not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere until minimum the end of the season. And on top of that, he's won games, he won away from home, so he's not going to. Ineos will feel very comfortable in their position. So we can sit and we can bitch and we can moan and say the 3-4-3 doesn't work, and the performance against Everton was rubbish, and the result against Everton was rubbish, and it was. All of these things are true, but it's not going to do any good. I think for myself mentally, I've kind of just checked out of that because I'll drive myself insane. I will drive myself insane because that is like screaming at the void, because it's not going to change. That is not going to change. What I can do as a fan is go on the roller coaster of a match, celebrate the wins when they happen, and literally just take it game by game. Because I think that's what the players and the managers doing, is taking it game by game. So we might as well be along with that ride. And however we got there yesterday, that is a really good result. Palace haven't lost at home since Feb. You know, they're a good team. They were 5th at the start of the weekend. You know, they'll be in and around this season. It's a good result. You know, regardless of how he got there, it's a good result. And I think in sort of 6 weeks' time, a month's time, when we'll look back on that, we go, tell you what, Palace away, bloody hell, that was an all right result, wasn't it? You know, and if someone goes, oh yeah, but you played shit, I don't care.
Exactly. It doesn't. It's not that deep. So. Look, we just have to. I just know that we're going to be that team this year. When I look at the midfield too, I keep saying it. You know, it's going to be. In fact, if we don't get to grips with the fact that we need moments, then it's going to be a long season, because we're not going to control many games. We're not going to look great in many teams against many teams. A lot of teams will set up better than us, dominate the ball, play better football than us. That's just what it's going to be. That is what it's going to be. In fact, thank God for the moments. Thank God. If we don't possess a little bit of individuality and bits of magic, we're not going to have many good team performances. How many of our games have been good team performances? Probably not a lot. We played good in spells. We played good in sections of the game, I would say. And then we've had improvement from individuals because Brian Mbeumo's come in. You know, he's kind of hit the ground running. He's someone to depend on. The relationship between Ahmad, we've kind of relied on. And clearly, I didn't even realize we've got that many set-piece goals. It didn't feel like it. Didn't feel like we was on 10. Didn't know that at all. You're on mute, yeah.
Again, we do have to celebrate those wins. You know what I mean? We do. I don't really understand why in other teams, if they score a lot of set pieces, that's tactical genius and really smart, you know, marginal gains and what have you. But when it's Manchester United, it's set piece FC, and we can't over rely on that. Well, it's been proven this season for a lot of teams that you can. That if anything, it's actually quite good for United to be going in vogue where the league's going. Usually we're sort of so behind on the times, we focus on set pieces once the league's moved on, and the set pieces aren't really, you know, being utilized anymore. So, you know, I'm like you said, we have to rely on the moments, and there aren't many team performances, but it's also because we're not a very good team. So we're not going to get team performances, and, you know, it's a long season. It was always going to be a long season. Like it was, and that is something that I've learned, and that is something where I will openly admit that I was wrong. That's why I say that I was wrong to call for Ruben to go after like 3 or 4 games this season, because it always was going to be a long season. It's going to be an up and down season. I've kind of accepted, and this can be standards on the floor, that the results against Everton and those performances, we've seen it a few times this season already. Like that's going to happen. And not they have to accept it, because it's difficult. You can't really accept the Everton performance because it was so bad. But it's kind of just acknowledging that, I know, if we can get into a European competition, I'm not even saying Champions League. If we can get into a European competition, that's improvement from last year. And to get there, it's going to be up and it's going to be down. And certainly when we win, then I will take that any day of the week. And then speaking, I suppose, of that sort of, that negativity, this is when it gets into the Leny Yoro stuff, right? So obviously you see him there. He was distraught. He had a really, he was poor yesterday. Leny Yoro had a really bad game yesterday, and he knows it. And he knows it. Obviously got taken off of Mazraoui. We get the win anyway. He was pretty distraught on the bench. Mason Mount after the game sort of went up to him to try and sort of comfort him, console him. And this was kind of my point during the game too. And this is why I push back on, with when people say, just throw the youngsters in the team, they'll do better than some of these senior players, blah, blah, blah. And this is why I always push back and go, no, let's not do that. Let's not just throw the youngsters into the team, because look what we do to them. I saw a lot yesterday of complete writing off Leny Yoro, of actually Leny Yoro's, he's this fraud. Leny Yoro's rubbish. Leny Yoro, he's overhyped. He's this, he's that. I tell you what Leny Yoro is. He's 20. He's 20 years old, right? He is going to have bad games, right? He's going to have rough games. He's going to have rough moments because he's a 20-year-old player. I know he was bought for a lot of money, and I know there was a lot of hype on him, and there is still a lot of hype on him, but he's going to have these sort of rough moments, these bad moments. But what we can't do is just, again, I've mentioned every game can't be a referendum on Ruben. Every game can't be a referendum on the players as well, whereby if they have a rough couple of games, well, they're shit, get rid. Leny Yoro, rubbish. Let the ops do that, because that's what the ops are going to do. With people like Leny Yoro, who are young, you do have to be like, even if they have a bad game, sorry, they'll be the next one. They'll be the next one. And you saw by the reaction of him, he knows he had a rough game yesterday. Gave away a sloppy penalty. He wasn't great on Monday. If anything, it maybe goes to show why. A couple of times Ruben's taken him out the team and put Maguire in, and we go, why has he done that? Why has he done that? Why has he taken Yoro out? Because maybe actually it's the right thing to do, So, the sort of the real people were going in on Leny Yoro yesterday, and I'm just like, I know these sort of adversity builds character, and these moments will make him, absolutely. But at the same time, that's why when JJ Gabriel scores a hat-trick for the under-18s, I'm not going, this is why he needs to be in the first team, or Sekou Kone or Chido, because we saw it last season as well. Chido comes in when he was never meant to come in, had no service, maybe missed like one or two chances, and he was like 17 at the time, and he already got overrated. We sound like Samuel Luckhurst. Exactly. He overrated since he was 15. We're just as bad. You know what I mean? We got
you can't do it. And Lenny's, listen, we've said it before. Lenny's having a tough time. He's having a tough time. He had a tough time for a period last season. Remember, he was getting ripped up against Southampton. You know what I mean? And then he put in some really good performances, got all the adulation for it, to the point where he got to tour. He was really confident. He was doing a lot of interviews saying, I feel good and this, that, and the other. Then he was obviously injured. He was injured a little bit before that. Then he hurt his foot, I think it was. So he's been up and down like you expect a young player to be. We've seen some snippets and some glimpses into the quality that he can possess as a young player. We've seen some snippets and glimpses, as you'd expect, into some of the things he needs to work on, some of the things that he's going to struggle with. You look at the Everton game, of course, like I said, the Dewsbury Hall incident. He's not strong enough in that moment. Obviously, he gets wrong side of Mateta and, can't sort his feet out, ends up, clumsily tripping him up. A couple of times on the ball, kind of just anticipation. De Ligt kind of killed him, heading it straight at his feet, but then Mateta's in. That would have just looked quite embarrassing for Leny, but it's one of them ones where De Ligt's kind of killed him. You're 5 yards away, he's bullet headed right at his feet. What could he do? It just looks bad. Against Everton, bit scared on the ball. You can tell, you can feel it. You can feel it for the kid.
Yeah.
And he's not an experienced pro. He's going to have ups and downs in the toughest league in the world. So, you can tell that he's he's emotional. These kids. I keep saying that. I feel old, but changing his Instagram handle to black now, and like it shows. It just affects him. Like really, you want to go. Come on, kid. Don't worry about that shit. Leave your Instagram alone, bro. Just leave everything as it is. Just go to training next day, and we move. But you can tell that wasn't how he was feeling. You see on the bench, he looked like he was going to cry. He's doing all this and head down, hood up. Like that's the learning curve of some young players. Some young players, some shit just don't faze them. Give me all the criticism you want. I don't care. I'll be even louder. I'll do this. Some get emotional. Where it's like, oh, I'm visibly upset and I want to hide a little bit, change my Instagram handle. I saw someone saying like, oh, I know that, but bro, who cares? Don't change your Instagram handle. It's not that deep. But it just shows you how temperamental the young generation player can be, depending on who they are. Complete different generation. His way of dealing with that is to show my feelings and emotion. Gonna mourn. I'm gonna put my Instagram handle to black. You know what I mean?
And also, like, if you live chronically online, which a lot of these players do,
exactly.
And
go straight on there, you search your name.
And you go on there. Well, not even you search your name. You go on there, and you go, oh, I got a lot of DMs here, and probably it's probably the vilest of the vile. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit. You know what I mean? And like,
exactly,
it's rough. It's rough, and I get that kind of. That's what comes with the territory. But also, you're a 20-year-old, and shout out to Mason Mount for going to him after the game. Yeah. I'm sure he wasn't the only one, I was just one that probably got picked up on camera. But shout out to him for doing that, because if Mason Mount knows, he's had his fair share of shit as well. And I'm sure people like Harry Maguire will be right there as well. I'm sure if Maguire was actually with the squad that day because he's injured at the moment, he'd probably do the same. He's kind of the he's the archetype for like, look, you just got to get over it, just let it bounce off you, Man United. It happens. But also,
and the manager needs to protect him now a little bit, which I think Ruben has, like you said, he's tried to do it in a sneaky way without us really realizing. But you go fairs, you can see why Maguire's, better for some games and take Leny out, Mazraoui in, whatever. But also now going forward, there's two different types of antidote in it. Keep playing, kids, you'll play through this bad patch. Or, which I think we should take the second one in this instance, you take him out against West Ham. You start Mazraoui, right centre back, no problem with that. And Amorim likes to flip in, change the centre backs anyway, last 10, 15 minutes. And then maybe you give Yoro 15 minutes off the bench. Mazraoui still come back from injury. And then you bring Leny in for that. And then again, Luke Shaw will probably come back out for Martinez, last 10 minutes again, last 15 minutes again, maybe. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I just think, like you said, use Maz before AFCON. You want to get Leny Yoro back to a point where, AFCON's going to come, so you don't want to have to rely on Mazraoui for the next couple of games. And then all of a sudden AFCON comes and then Lenny's not ready because he's too scared. Do you know what I mean? You have to kind of do a bit of both. And obviously getting Maguire back will probably help as well, because then you can put the lit right centre back as well. Probably need Maguire to come back quite quickly, actually, really, because of Mazraoui. So I don't mind it. He needs time. I would say.
It doesn't. Like I said, he's 20 years old now, and that's why I do think as fans we can kind of do our part. I know that we want to be more ruthless with players, and we should, and there is no room for sentiment. I totally get that, but it's a bit different with those younger players. I mean, I think we all can see it's not a case of like Leny Yoro. He's actually not good. Clearly there's a real top quality player there. We've already seen glimpses. Frankly, the glimpses we have seen from him at 19 and at 20 goes to show that his ceiling's really, really high. The last thing I think we want to do as fans is when they do have a few difficult games to show that, we'll go in on you. We'll go in on you and we'll rip you apart, for no reason. There's a difference between being sort of ruthless and just being, I don't know, just mean. You know what I mean? For kind of the sake of it. And trust me, Leny Yoro will feel worse than we need to make him feel after yesterday's game and after his recent performances. He deserves the backing when it comes to that. And like you said, now I think it's about with Ruben doing the right thing, taking him out. Fortunately, we do have the option to take him out. We might not have that, like you say, in a few weeks' time with AFCON and what have you. So it's about getting him back to that point. It's also a case of he's playing right centre back in a system that he probably hasn't played that much, through his career so far, which doesn't help things. But he's got to adapt, and he's got to, improve and overcome that. So, yeah, I think, and even people like, say like a Joshua Zirkzee, even he could go to Leny Yoro and be like, look, I went through it. Look, I got hooked off at 30 minutes a year ago against December, and I haven't played a game pretty much this season, and now I scored a really crucial goal. Like, it happens. Just keep your head down, keep going. You know what I mean?
But it's that reminder that we've got guys that are actually struggling in the squad. Like, so the squad's struggling in terms of seniors, middle of the road pros who have been about the block, confidence of wins. The manager struggled for confidence himself. When you hear how he's spoken things, he's learned a lot. So they're all on this ship where it's been really difficult. And then you remember like some of the young bucks in there that are like fucking sinking, man. Like, Jesus, this is not getting any games. I can't get any rhythm. I did send you a little thing in the chat there, Owen. Don't know if we can just quickly bring that up.
I saw that, yes, about the...
Because I wanted to see... Yeah, there's a thing about Kobbie.
There's a lot been made. Of this, yeah. And I've got a bit of a different opinion on this, by the way. I've got a bit of a different opinion on this. So I'll load the picture. And so basically, a lot of people are talking about, obviously Kobbie came on for, was it 4 minutes yesterday? 4 minutes, yeah. And there's been a lot of screen grabs of like, this, saying, he just looks really defeated and blah, blah, blah. I push back on that and go, I think he just looked normal. I think there's quite a bit of like projecting there. Like, is it shit for Kobbie? For people that want Kobbie to play, and obviously from where he was to where he is now, coming on at the last minute, being a sub to kind of waste time and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I just kind of felt like, obviously, he would rather be playing 90 minutes and he'd rather be an integral part of the team and blah. I totally get that. But are we now into the territory where we're doing the whole, we didn't look happy when he came on, or what's that facial expression like? I think that's just a bit much. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's shit for him coming on that late, and he's probably not happy about it. But I don't think he's like, stomping onto the pitch. Oh God. You know what I mean? I'm just a bit like,
it's what Slices says here. It's what he says here. It's social media plus obviously Mainoo's been wanting to leave. So remember, I always say there's certain things that can whether it's journalists that do it or somebody has a big account or their tweet just picks up some traction, that you can put together, and then when you consume it, you go, oh, that could make sense with everything that's going on. So wanted to leave a couple of times, hasn't been allowed, gets no minutes, coming on for 4 minutes, and face looks like that. Actually, it could all kind of mash into one thing. And then at first, and at first glance, if you're just scrolling as well, not really paying attention, it's the sort of thing you could probably drop a like on and be like, yeah, he fucking does look pissed off. Carry on. Do you know what I mean? I'd be pissed off with him. And look, again, I think quite a couple of things could be true here. Has Kobbie Mainoo been happy at Manchester United this season? No, because he's not playing games. He's hardly getting off the bench. And is he going to be elated at coming on for 4 minutes? No,
he's not going to be. He's not gritting, is he? You know what I mean?
Exactly. But at the same time, when you look at Kobbie's actual face, like just the normal one thing when he was playing really well is you go, he's got this thing about him where he just looks like he's just playing in the park. He just kind of just got like that kind of nonchalant face. And Martial went through it a little bit, his face. Does he look like he cares? Does he look like this? Yeah. Berbatov had it a little bit, That
was the point I was just about to make, Flex.
What's his face like,
I was just about to make this point. I think if we go down the route of look at his face, whatever, that is a really dangerous path. That is a really dangerous path because that is not a short step from, oh, look, he's sulking, or look at him, he's now he's walking. Look at his face when he came on. He doesn't want to be here. That's why he's not running around. You know what I mean? It's not a big jump to go from that to that. And that's why I sort of go, when we start doing that sort of projection stuff of look at his face when he came on, then suddenly if he is walking around, because he might be walking, it'll be look at him, doesn't want to be here, get rid of him.
Well, here's what that might not be that. Said. It was Darnie Young. This is the tweet that 16,000 likes, loads of shares, loads of retweets, etc., etc. He took that picture and said, and quote retweeted and said, "This is not anger or frustration. This is defeat, pure defeat. The kid is broken, not from bad performances or a lack of talent, just that the manager doesn't fancy him. Really tough to watch." So he's gone in from that picture.
Oh,
He's gone in from
Flex.
that picture. He's gone in from that picture. That's his view. That's how he feels.
That tweet though, it's not that
Is it
deep.
too dramatic?
Yeah, of course
But
it is.
Owen,
This is defeat, pure defeat. Look at his face. It's pure defeat. God,
Owen,
come on.
all elite
like,
agrees.
God.
All elite says agreed. He looked defeated. That's the word. Kobbie's not
so
had a good game in over a year now.
Yeah.
Why did he ask to leave then?
It's so like, yeah, but yeah, and again, don't get it mistaken. Like, he does want to leave on loan, and he's not happy about the situation. But this whole like, look at him, pure defeat, this, that, and the other. It's like it's just his face coming on as a sub. Why are we getting so deep about it? You know what I mean? Look at him.
I agree with part of that tweet, not all of it.
And also, you don't even see what he's maybe looking at. It looks like he's looking at someone's hands, like he's going to slap him to come on. You know what I mean? Good game, that kind of thing. It's pure defeat. A screen grab out of like a half a second moment. Nah, it's not that deep.
Owen's not having this one at all. What I will say, Owen, what I will say is that again, the manager doesn't fancy Kobbie in this system. I mean, okay, he doesn't trust him. He doesn't trust him in this system. I've learnt my lesson from the Zirkzee thing. He trusts others before him, and he's not getting any minutes. And that's making him unhappy. I agree that the extra scrutiny on his face, his eyes, his ears, his nose, his mouth, I agree with that. Doing too much.
That's don't get it mistaken, because Show says here Owen's been in denial over Kobbie for a while though. It's not that I totally acknowledge the situation, and he's a really good player and he should be getting more minutes. I've been an advocate for letting him go on loan if you can bring someone else in, because he needs to be playing. Don't get me wrong. My pushback is the tweet. My pushback is the tweet of like that whole,
this is pain.
Look at his face. Look at his face, the defeat. And maybe I should do it without the tone. All right. But I'll just read it out. I'll read it out. This is not anger or frustration. This is defeat, pure defeat. The kid is broken. Broken, Flex. We're using the word. He's broken. Broken.
He might feel broken though. He might feel
not
broken.
From bad performances or lack of talent, just that the manager doesn't fancy him. Really
that bit's
tough
true.
to watch.
Bit there of saying how Kobbie has ended up here is not because of lack of talent, not because of shit performances. It is because the managers just won't put you in. That bit is true. That bit is true.
And I'm sure, I'm absolutely sure he's not clearly he is not thrilled with the situation and going on. And maybe, I don't know if it's as deep as I'm broken. I'm broken. You know what I mean?
He might be really upset by it, though. And then I was in the Euros final last year, and now I can't get a game.
Of course.
Be really upset. I think he'd be really upset.
Of course you would be frustrated about that. But the caption is, for that image, it is trying to play this story that Kobbie's in this like deep, dark place, and he can't even register a smile and get on the pitch. You know what I mean? And you sort of go,
2148 says he is broken. He doesn't play.
It's like, okay, like, you know, but at the same time, it's like he came on. We're checking out his face as he's coming on as a sub in a match. Like, let's not get ourselves into that much of a tizzy about how he looked when he came on. I mean, because that is projection. And for me, I hate when people do that. You know, remember I mentioned earlier on when I came in, you're not happy we won today. We don't know. We don't know. Don't tell me how I'm feeling. Don't tell Kobbie how he's feeling. You know what I mean? Kobbie, Kobbie, I don't know if you've noticed, mate, you're broken. He might go, no, I'm fucking not. I'm not broken. Don't tell me how I'm feeling.
I'm pissed off and I'm annoyed that I'm not playing, but broken's a bit
too exactly.
He might push back. But then, okay, so we can argue about the adjective of broken, right? Or
just his face. I tell you what, Kobbie, your face when you came on, he'd be like, yeah, that's my face.
Or he could say, how would you feel coming on for 4 minutes? Yeah, I am pissed off. He might say that.
Yeah, of course. Of course I'm pissed off. But like at the same time, don't like dress it up like, again, his face when he came on. Oof.
But that post is in support of Kobbie, though. It's not painting him as a bad egg. That's the difference.
No, it's not painting him as a bad egg.
It used to be a negative connotation with Martial, because they would say he doesn't even want to be here. He doesn't want to run. Look at his face like a slapped ass, like that he's miserable. This is in support of Kobbie to say, look what you've done to the kid, from scoring in the finals, from playing in the Euros final, winning the FA Cup, etc., playing
But
week
that's
in,
still
week out for our club,
projection.
and now he can't get a game over Casemiro Ugarte. Look
But
at
it's
him
still
now.
like when they're saying look at his face, he's broken. That's implying like Kobbie's this like depressed individual.
Yeah, he can't wake up,
You know
can't
what I
get out of
mean?
bed.
Yeah, and it's like, well, he's coming on to play a game of football. You know what I mean? He's broken,
And you're
it's
not
like,
going to be happy coming on that late. Like, you're not.
Yeah,
Obviously. It's just like when they get taken off. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, he shows a bit of front. You know when players get shown a bit of front?
Yeah,
Well, no one's happy at coming off. We want to play every minute.
Yeah,
every game.
exactly. Oh, how humiliating. He got brought on for Manchester United for 4 minutes, you know? Yeah, it sucks. And from where he was, but at the same time, he's what, 20? You know? he's a broken man. I'm a bit like, like I said, I just think it's a dangerous space when we start judging the faces of people, because we've done it before, and that will spin off into different things. Like you said, that post isn't saying, oh, he's a bad egg and he's this, that, and the other. But I don't think it's that big of a sidestep, because that narrative now, that's been started. So all it takes is for, let's say Casemiro does a wayward pass in the next game, zoom to Kobbie on the bench, look at his face. He looks fuming. Why is he sitting on the bench?
Well, to be fair,
You know
the TV
I mean?
cameras weren't really doing it. This was just like a little social media thing. So it should go away.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Aminal says, Flex, would you play Mount over Cunha now? Hold that thought. He says, I don't know. Terence Pace says, no Paqueta on Thursday. Lost his head yesterday. I, for one, was amongst the people calling out Zirkzee. But he came up clutch, so I hold my hands up. Aminal says, Flex, you better cook Abby today on DR. Spurs are poo. She will get cooked. Don't worry about that. And Sanjit says, Leny had a few tough games. That is all. No need to overanalyze it. And don't forget, while he gave away the pen, he also made a goal-saving block. Yeah, we bigged him up for that, because that was definitely him and Luke Shaw did that. Just on that one, though, I touched on this when you were sorting out the dog, Owen. When I was bigging up Zirkzee, I was like, got onto a little bit of Mason Mount, just really quickly before we wrap up. And I was like, actually, you know what? I mean, yeah, Cunha's going to be back, but I tell you what, you can't change that. I don't think
Cunha as many goals as
Mount,
Cunha now.
Exactly. And Mount scored the winning goal. Zirkzee got his first goal in however long. You know, they deserve to keep their shirts at home against West Ham. I think you keep the same. And Mbeumo's and Bruno, you've got to keep him there.
Yeah, I think the front three will stay the same there.
Yeah. And it should on merit.
Yeah, and also Cunha's coming back from, the concussion protocol. You don't want to rush these things. So I think so. And Cunha will still get his moment, because as we said earlier on, we're super inconsistent. So there's a high chance Mason Mount might have a stinker the next game. And we're like, well, got to bring in Matheus Cunha. So yeah, that's where it is. And also actually with
Joe says,
with West, go ahead.
It's taken 14 games to say Mount over Cunha. Yeah, we don't deserve talent. So again, shows just
for this game, for the upcoming game. You know what I mean? It's not right enough.
What happens to merit? Play well, you keep your shirt, mate. Last time Matheus Cunha played, he was shit.
You're saying it gets into the territory of Mason Mount. Yeah, he played well. He deserves to start in the next game with Cunha, who's coming back from an injury. So Matheus Cunha's a big flop. Then we should get rid of him this season, should we? And you go, well, no, that's not what was said. You know what I mean? And again, it's not even English bias. If I had it my way, Mason Mount would have been sold over the last couple of summers.
Cunha's been shit because of the system, the same system he played at Wolves.
I sympathise for Cunha. I've said this before. I've sympathised for Cunha because, unlike Mbeumo, he's been in and out of different positions. He's not just been a left 10. He's been false 9 and then moved around and in and out of the team.
Cunha's
so
wicked.
absolutely. But at the same time, if someone's playing well, they should play. You know what I mean? If someone's coming back from an injury, they should play. Cunha got hooked off against Spurs because he didn't play well, and this is when we talk about both sides of the mouth. We were criticising Cunha because he wouldn't pass the ball. Too greedy. Couple of games out. Flex, if we don't have him in, we're not going to win anything. I tell you now, we're not going to win anything. Well, 2 games ago, he was crap, and we've wasted money. We just, like I said, celebrate the wins. Take a win,
It's that simple. It's simple.
Fine.
There you go. Guys, big show this morning. Big up. Good to have the positive vibes, even though we still find things to disagree on somehow when we win.
Yes.
Which is great. It's really enjoyable.
And she is settled now, aren't you?
She is settled now. Look, there you go. Yeah. She's just chilling. Go on, Asha.
Exactly.
Go on, Asha. Yes, Asha.
Yeah.
She's good now. That's good. Everyone is set. I think we all needed that this morning. We all just
we did. We did. I feel better. I feel better for it.
You look better now. Actually, by the end of it, you don't look as tired.
Thanks. I feel better for it. I feel a bit more waking up. Yeah, that's what happens when you have to, deep clean the house because the puppy's gone crazy. For banging outside. Lovely. What a start.
Exactly. Guys, midweek football back at Old Trafford. Who said we only had one game a week? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Who said that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And we'll be the last of this game week as well. So, you know, if a few results go our way because there's some decent teams playing each other, hopefully we can put West Ham to the sword and rise up the league even higher.
Very quickly, before you press end stream and we play the end card, can I just play something very quickly? Because I noticed we didn't play it earlier on, and we wouldn't probably usually for this show, but it's a nice way to sort of start things.
I like that. It is the 1st of December. It is the 1st of December. So, Christmas, there you go. I mean, maybe we've got to change up the morning view, put that onto the morning view, maybe to.
I know.
Speak to
I did put in a request. I put in a request a few days ago and said December 1st. We need a new Christmas intro. Or I said, if you want to change it, you know, and he said, I'm thinking about it. So next Christmas, we'll have a new Christmas intro.
No, I believe in Josh. I believe. And Farmer Crusoe says Kobbie is 19. Would he start in Arsenal, Chelsea, or Liverpool midfield? Let's cool off. Okay, there you go. All right, guys, have a good Monday. Enjoy. Check out DR later on. Yeah, Abby will get cooked. There'll be a few words having to be said about that Arsenal-Chelsea game as well, because Arsenal came with a lot of smoke about what they were going to do to Chelsea, and they didn't do it. Chelsea came with a lot of smoke about what they would do to Arsenal, and they didn't do it. But they probably come off better because they had 10 men, and Caicedo was always fault. So
should they check out your reaction on the Football Flex?
And they should check out my reaction on the Football Flex, which, by the way, was interesting because the Chelsea fans are, don't call Caicedo an idiot. He's still the best in the world. We forgive him. Yeah, that's great, mate. But per 90, let's call it out. You came with all of the he's the best and he's the this and it's him against Price. He was overcharged up and it was an awful tackle and he ruined it for you. He ruined it. So call it out. That's it. I'm not saying he's shit. I'm not saying he's hyped up and he's not as good as you think he is. I'm not saying that because Caicedo is top. So stop getting touchy, Chelsea fans. He was great.
Chelsea played really well. Chelsea played really, really well in that game as well. Do you know how bad the tackle was, Flex? It woke me up. That's how bad it was. It woke me up. I was asleep. Yeah, I was asleep. I was asleep. I slept through the game. I was exhausted. But the reaction to it was so big that I woke up and I sort of turned over on the sofa. I went, what's going on? And I saw VAR. I went, must red card, and I went back to sleep
straight away. I knew it was a red card.
Even half asleep, I went red card, mate.
Yeah. And it's so mad. Yeah, I didn't even see because and then what you missed, Owen, he started pretending that he was injured. He was rolling around for ages, banging the ground, holding his ankle. And I was like, oh my God, Caicedo's really hurt. I didn't even see the red card. I didn't even see, because obviously I haven't got the commentating on. So I didn't know they were checking. Didn't see. I was just trying to look at the tackle to see, how is he this injured? He's really hurt. He was a disgrace. He did that tackle and tried to hide it because he thought, shit, I'm in trouble. Let me just roll around. Disgusting. Yeah. Then started laughing. Going, me red card, then trying to get back on the pitch, trying to talk to the ref. Get off. Anyway, don't know why I was so angry about it. It's because the Chelsea fans were like, oh, no, we forgive him. Yeah, you can forgive him, but call him out for that stupidity.
Yeah, silly.
And Timber, the Reece James fit. Matisse going to have a field day with the Reece James Timber thing.
Oh, Reece James, he was brilliant.
Reece James was the best. You talk about Declan Rice and Caicedo and Zubimendi. The answer is Reece James.
I'm glad for him because I thought he was on the verge. I thought he was on the verge of retirement.
Exactly,
because of his injuries.
So much.
He's been brilliant. Yeah,
he's been excellent. All right, big up, people. We are out of it. Take care. Rant over. Peace.